you such a bitch? Maybe it's because the second I raise my voice, I'm aggressive, but when I whisper, I'm ignored. Maybe it's because I'd rather be misread as rude than identified as wounded. Maybe it's because I've learned that being a bitch is easier than being betrayed. Maybe it's because I didn't want to be the doormat that everyone wipes their muddy intentions on. Maybe it's because I'm tired of performing softness just so men don't feel embarrassed by their own lack of control. Maybe it's because calling me a bitch is easier than admitting that you're uncomfortable around a woman with boundaries. Or maybe it's not that I'm a bitch at all. It's just that you're not used to women who have the audacity to speak with conviction without apologizing for it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Claire Monica and welcome back to Claire Monica Talks. I just want to say a big amen to that first creators video, because a lot of the time women are socialized and groomed to cater to the male ego, or to shrink themselves, or to not be too much, or be palatable, be soft, be nice, be open, be smiley, all these things that are told to do. So then women are taught to be palatable, and when you're a woman who's able to walk in a room, command space, not be easily open with your energy, you can be warm, you can engage with people when you're directly engaged with, you can be polite, good morning, good night, whatever the case may be. But when you're not going out of your way to accommodate to people's social needs, or accommodate men in power, or men in the room, or people in the room, when you're comfortable enough to walk in, say what you want, you're able to go to your job and say exactly what salary you want, you're able to list down your standards, your requirements without flinching, you are going to be seen as a problem. You are going to be seen as a threat, because like the first creator was talking about, women are not typically seen as assertive figures in society, or obviously under the patriarchy, women are not encouraged to be assertive, bold, and oftentimes women are deterred from being these people. Oftentimes women are deterred from being strong in themselves because they may fear being labeled a villain or being called arrogant, whatever the case may be. But as a woman, when you get to the point where you don't care what you're called, as long as you are walking in your sovereignty, you're walking in your power, your purpose, and you're getting exactly what you want, everyone else's opinions, everyone else's thoughts can go to hell, because everyone has opinions. Assholes have opinions. Intelligent people have opinions. Anyone can have an opinion. It doesn't make it true, and it doesn't make it valid. And I love this generation of women that are starting to stand up and see that you are no less than a man. You are no less than a person. You have the same rights as everyone else in the room. You are able to take up space, and no, you don't have to apologize for it, and no, you don't have to shrink for it. Okay, be powerful. We need more representation of powerful women in this world, because they do exist. If you're listening to this, that is you. Whether you feel like you're there or not, you have the power, you have the capability to walk in confidence. And sometimes you have to just fake it till you make it. But yeah, I'll add more commentary towards the end, but just remember that well-behaved women rarely make history. So let this be your last day of shrinking. Let's get into the video.
I was ashamed of myself when I realized life was a costume party and I attended with my real face. When I read this quote, I immediately thought about how you, as an ambitious woman, because you're probably an ambitious woman if you watch my content, can use this quote as a framework for your successful life and kind of use it to your advantage. I think that performance and performative behavior gets a bad rep in society, but sometimes performance, when done correctly, can actually benefit your life in huge ways. One of my favorite creators on here, Jody, said something really profound about authenticity that really stayed with me. She basically said that you should not be bringing your authentic self to work, and how the concept of the authentic self is in many ways a myth. And I think that is one of the most important lessons for ambitious women to learn. The most successful women are not necessarily the most authentic, but they are the most strategic. They know when to be warm versus when to be intimidating. They know when to highlight certain wins. They know when to withhold certain information and when to exaggerate. And let's talk about exaggeration for a second. I think there's a fundamental difference in how men view it versus how women view it. Men view it as confidence, whereas women oftentimes we view it as lying. And that's why I absolutely love those videos where women are like, if you want more opportunities, just start lying. Lying changed my life. Men do it all the time. Now, that's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying to go around telling lies to everybody, being a pathological liar. No, I'm saying Position yourself for opportunities. I think about Marilyn Monroe and how she created an alter ego because she understood that the world responds to symbols. So like the quote says, life really is like a costume party. And the women who I've encountered who are truly powerful, they know what version of themselves to bring forward and when.
My favourite type of women to meet are the type that would have framed photos of themselves up around their house, like just them, a selfie. Also women who either avoid men completely or have several restraining orders from different men. Women who are single or in a relationship with someone who is quite afraid of them. Women that run errands in their pyjamas. Women who treat their birthday like it's a national holiday. Women who have never ever needed to say that they are a girl's girl because they know I can see they are both a female and not a dickhead. And lastly, the type of woman who, if I say, oh, I'm feeling fat and ugly, they'll say, shut the fuck up, and not, oh, I feel for ya.
I'm not likable and I'm not relatable and I'm not interested in being like either of those things anymore because I'm much more interested in being happy and being myself.
It's a trap.
It's literally a trap to keep you small.
Mm-hmm.
People still question, my legitimacy all the time. And I think it's like a matter of being confident in your own career. And only this year has that happened when I was forced to make a resume for the first time. And I was like, you know what? I'm really that girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The credentials are there.
The credentials are there.
As a woman in her mid-20s who did not fall for the propaganda of making big decisions early, like getting married and having kids, I really, really feel like the reason why they push that on young women is because they don't want your frontal cortex to develop. They don't want you to get a taste of life where you're sovereign, you have money, you go home, you drive a nice car, you can go out and be tricked on, but when you go home, there's nobody who pestering you and telling you what to do and what to wear and who to be. When you start to experience that life, you're not gonna want anything else. That's why they want you caught up quickly.
I am a 60-year-old woman of color. I stopped existing a long time ago, which is also part of why I have this style. You may not like what you see, but you will see me, motherfucker. I'm also an Asian woman in this country, which means that I have been followed by the model minority myth, so I'm expected to be quiet and submissive and politically pliable. And I refuse to dim my light, dull my shine, mute my volume, shrink my essence to make anybody else feel comfortable. I don't care if you like how I dress. I don't care if you think I'm pretty. I don't care if you desire me. I don't care if you don't want to be like me. I'm not doing it for any of that. The only thing I care about is that you see me and you acknowledge me. If you don't see somebody as human, if you see them as an object, you can brutalize those people. That's a huge part of the mission of the work that I'm doing, is to encourage women to give themselves permission to be powerful.
Women with really high standards are rarely seen in public with men, because being seen in public with men is one of the most embarrassing things you can do as a woman with really high standards, especially if he's a bozo. It ruins your mystique. It's bad for the brand, and it's a real risk to your reputation. You have really high standards. You understand who you stand next to in public says something about you. And not every man deserves to be associated with your face or your name. Something to be taken seriously, and being seen with the wrong man can cost you more than just your time. For a woman with standards, it's just too high of a price to pay. You've seen out in public with the wrong man, ask yourself, is he consistent in private? Does his behavior match his words when no one else is watching? Does he respect my standards and my boundaries, or has he already pushed past what I've clearly? Is this good for my reputation and my nervous system? Just because it's cute for Instagram doesn't mean it's safe, respectful, and aligned with who you say you are and who you want.
So, do I ever get lonely as an ambitious woman? That's a very good question. And it's one that was one of my fears when it came to making money. Like, how much money are you allowed to make as a woman before a man stops wanting you? You hear a lot of girls saying that, oh, I don't want to be too rich because my husband is the one that should have the money. Or, oh, I don't want to shine too brightly in case I scare men away. Or, oh, if I have too much money, I'll only attract gold diggers or people who want me for my money. And all of these are valid fears. But as somebody that is grown and intelligent, you have to ask yourself, what is more important to me? My growth or the love of a man that does not understand me? Do I want to be with somebody that wants me to shrink? Or do I want to be with someone that wants me to shine? Because as a woman, guess what? It does not matter how much money you have. The right man is the right man for you. So do not be scared of ambition. I literally grew up being told that being ambitious was dangerous because I would scare the right man away. And now, growing up, I realize that is a big fat lie. And it makes you realize that your decision is very important. You have to be very selfish with your heart. And more importantly, you have to be very selfish with your ambition. I cannot be with a man that doesn't push me to be with the best of the best. I cannot be with a man that is scared of my success. Because guess what? I'm going to become even more successful. And I cannot be with a man that is not ready to step up and be by my side. Because you don't necessarily need to find a man richer than you. But you do need to find a man that is driven enough that your ambition drives him even further. A man that loves you will want to be the best version of himself. And if that means physically, financially, religiously, or in whatever shape or form comes, that is a man that you should look out for. So stop settling for these people that don't deserve you. The right man is out there. And he's not scared of your light. He will never beg you to dim it. And most importantly, he's going to give you a platform to be the brightest star in the room. He's not going to allow you to be mediocre, because to him, loving you means bringing out the best version of you, and not through cruelty. No, don't get me wrong, through love. Love grows the sweetest plants. It cooks the sweetest food. It builds the best home. So find a man that can give you love, and a man that can give you the platform to be great. Most importantly, find a man that loves himself and loves you so much that he would want to be the best of the best, because you deserve the best of the best. That's my take on that. So do I ever feel lonely because I'm ambitious? Maybe. Sometimes. It just means that the crowd is smaller. The options are less. But it does not mean that my dream person doesn't exist. And that is the same situation for you. So dream big. Dream so scarily big that it scares away the mediocre mind and makes your true man actually be able to find it.
The coldest, most ruthless woman you'll ever meet is also the kindest woman you'll ever meet. And most men will never understand that, because they only get to see one side of her. You see, she didn't start off cold and ruthless. She started off soft, caring, trusting. She gave people the benefit of the doubt. She forgave too easily. She loved too hard, and people took advantage of that over and over again. So she adapted. She built walls. She learned how to tell people to fuck off without even flinching. She became the woman people called cold, heartless, ruthless, too much. But she's not cold, she's careful, and that's a big difference, because behind all those walls is the sweetest woman you'll ever meet.
Nothing scares me. Like, if somebody's a narcissist, they don't like me, I'm showing up looking better than them all the time, every day, just to make them mad. Okay? If my mother-in-law was a narcissist, I'm going to be a bigger narcissist than her when I see her, period. Okay? Why do y'all shrink back? You're the goddess. If you're a goddess, be a goddess. Ain't no mortal human being gonna top you. Be a goddess, period. Don't be afraid of it. People respect that. I know they do. We don't care. Like, we don't care. You there for us. So when you walk in the room, everybody's there for you. You're the guest of honor. I don't even care who the guest of honor really is. It's really you in your mind. You know why? Because that's how you need to walk. That's how you need to talk. That's how you need to act. Of course, show respect to the real guest of honor, as usual, but in your mind, that's how you need to act, period. Because that's your archetype. If you act any type of way, no one's going to see you as a goddess. You're going to be like, oh, what's that? Just by your energy, how you walk, how you talk, how you look, how you treat people. Who is that? You see? And if you are all insecure and scared, like humble, and like they won't see you. They'll think you're cute, but then they'll think, oh, she's insecure, something's wrong. And you won't get as much, they won't be as intrigued. So you must act the part.
Oh my god, you're going through that? Oh, that's so sad that you're going through that. Everyone goes through troubles. We can cry about it, drop a couple tears. Now what are we gonna do about it? What's the solution?
What's the solution?
I'm constantly pouring into myself, watching videos, investing in masterminds and events. So I have these people around me that are in my network that I can always talk to, and they're not gonna give me the advice. They're gonna give me the real advice, like, yeah, it's fine, you're going through troubles. Everyone goes through troubles. Get your shit together and keep going. And it's like, okay.
You know what people hate the most about me? Is that I can still remain whole regardless of what happens to me. Always. Even when it comes to things that happens outside of me. And a lot of people hate that shit. And being the type of person that doesn't need constant outside validation, being someone that's not held hostage by my own personal desires, or the need to fit in, or the need to be liked, or the need for that text back. The reality is I know how to offer people my attention, but I'm not gonna give you my peace. And another thing too is I know how to be fully present without being stuck. So, like me or love me, it don't really matter to me. Because that's what it means to live detached and live within God's will, and people can do whatever the hell they want to do with that.
The most dangerous thing for a woman to be is to be completely stunning or high capacity or just stand out, but completely unaware of her worth. And this is especially true if you come from a conservative or traditional type of culture. And here's why. So first, we need to understand how these cultures operate, okay? They depend entirely on female compliance. Think about it. The marriages, the family honor, the male authority, they only work if women stay in their place. So because a woman who knows her worth has negotiating power, you're not supposed to see that. The woman with high value, she has options. She can reject the unsuitable marriages. She can leave. She can demand respect. So that's why you'll often find that in these environments, everyone tries to keep high value women unaware of their value. And everyone tends to participate. And it often starts with the mother. If you stand out, instead of celebrating you, she'll often humble you. Don't think you're so special. Why? Because she was raised in that system. She made sacrifices. She accepted smallness. And you represent everything that she wasn't allowed to be. So even if she doesn't mean to, she might feel this kind of urge to disable your self-perception. And if your own mother says that you're nothing special, you often believe it. Now, what about your friends? In cultures where women's only value is through men and marriage, the relationship between women tends to be competitive. And your beauty, that threatens their options. So that's why when you're struggling, a lot of times you don't get support and protection. They think, oh, she's pretty, she'll be fine. And now the men, sometimes they will pursue you, but sometimes they also will try to humble you. They're going to say, oh, she's fake, she's full of makeup, it's all filters. Because these environments tend to be highly patriarchal, he feels justified in establishing himself as a judge of your value. So see the pattern? Your mom disables your self-perceptions, your friends withdraw their support through competition, and men may humble you while pursuing you. So everyone works towards the same goal, keeping you unaware. And this creates a really dangerous archetype, a high-value woman with a low-value identity, someone walking around with a fortune believing that it's trash. And that gap between what you have and what you think you deserve is where exploitation happens. And that's why women like this can end up in the most serious type of danger and the most targeted without anyone knowing. So if you're a woman like this, the most powerful thing you can do is to finally see the system clearly. Because in systems built on female submission, awareness is rebellion. So see yourself clearly, because that's not arrogance, that's accuracy, and it's the only way to protect yourself.
I'm not putting a hashtag or a caption on this video, so this is meant for a very specific person. Sometimes you have to make the decision that is going to make you cry your eyes out, that is going to make you lose, that is going to make you feel like life is death, okay? I am telling you, intuition is not on how you feel about something at all. Intuition is a silent knowing, which I don't know who I'm talking to, but you know exactly what the fuck you have to do right now, okay? In a situation that does not serve you anymore. okay, where the lesson was learned. If you choose to keep staying in this situation that does not serve you anymore, which you damn well know it doesn't, okay, and you keep repeating the cycle will never finish. It will keep going and you won't get what you want. When you say no to something, okay, and you lose something, you make room for something that is bigger to come into your life, that you want to come into your life. That requires you sometimes to grieve and to go through loss, okay? And that was you who picked that. And that's okay. But I'm telling you, sometimes the decision you have to make is not the one that is going to make you happy. Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this. That's a very specific message. Okay, but anyways, I love you and follow for more.
Stay beautiful, focus on your goals, get that money, respect yourself, and humbly stunt on anybody that ever doubted you.
And that's on period. At the end of the day, you were born alone. You're going to be buried alone. At every moment and at every phase of your life, you're the only person you're going to have for life at every point, at every stage. So love yourself, respect yourself. If you want to be respected in the world, you want to be respected by men, by society, it starts from within. If you don't respect yourself, you can't expect the world to respect you. And sometimes respecting yourself as a woman means you'll have less friends, you'll have less relationships, less men in your orbit, less drama. You may even be excluded. You may be someone that people are intimidated by. Women are infantilized, and I'm actually going to make a video about that. And women oftentimes are expected to be, palatable, soft, submissive, know when to speak, know when to be quiet. And of course, times have changed, times have progressed, but these behaviors and these expectations still show up in subtle moments. And as someone who has experienced, especially across contexts with powerful men, I find that as soon as I walk in the room, I could do nothing. Like, I can literally just walk in the room and it's instant ignoring, power plays. You can just see the ego trips. You can just see the ego flaring up. And it's actually so interesting to see, because I haven't even opened my mouth yet. You don't even know my story. You don't know my achievements. You don't know my life. You don't know anything, but they're already intimidated by even just the look, the presence, the aura. And you know what? As a woman, that's exactly where you want to be. Stand your ground, speak up, advocate for yourself. In the past, there's been situations where I was even shaking internally, but I knew I had to speak up, because sometimes people will be wrong, especially in situations where men in power, or maybe men over you, or even people over you in general, they feel like because they're men, or maybe their titles. Another thing I need to add is that some people aren't internally sovereign or internally powerful. A lot of their authority comes from the titles they have or the things that they have, instead of actually being a powerful, sovereign person. So when a woman like you walks in, or a person like you walks in, it shakes them up, because that is authentic. And when people see the authentic, they can suddenly feel the weight of their shallow confidence or the shallow achievements they have. And in some cases, they may try humble you, maybe they'll try match you, whatever the case may be. Just don't let yourself be dragged down by that energy, and just stay in your power. And if you want to hear more about these kind of topics, make sure you subscribe to my other channel, Claire's Kingdom. And yeah, stay sovereign, ladies, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.